Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, man, we got a video by Bleacher Report titled One Trade Deadline Prediction for Every NBA Team. So this is not like necessarily like who exactly is going to be traded or who they're going for, just more so a general statement in which we can give our thoughts and opinions about, man. So yes, let's get going on this. If you guys want to give me a prediction for your favorite team in the comment section below, let me know. Mine is, I think Jeremy Grant gets traded. I think he's gonna be gone, so that's just my thought right there, man. But here we go. Let's get going. Starting off with the Atlanta Hawks, and this is making a consolidation deal. So this is something that teams do sometimes when you just have too much talent or too many assets and you just don't have enough minutes in the rotation to do so. And yeah, the general idea right here is to just kind of shorten out the rotation and make what you do rotate even better. Now, they kind of already did this by trading Cam Reddish away, because Kevin Knox, I think, fits well in the Hawks system, but Cam Reddish is the guy you have to play, where Kevin Knox is the guy you can play if you want to. So yeah, they're kind of already going in that route with things as is. Next up, we got the Boston Celtics duck the tax with Dennis Schroeder deal. So right now, the Celtics are 23-22 on the season. Yeah, it's the smart choice. It's the smart choice. Dennis Schroeder not being on the Celtics for the rest of the season would make them a worse team. It would, plain and simple. Schroeder's a decent point guard, but fact of the matter, when you look at the long-term scope of the Celtics and kind of the direction they're heading in, this is not the season to go for a championship. Set yourself up, to really maximize and optimize next NBA offseason and kind of go from there, man. So yeah, I definitely agree with that 100%. Especially because, Schroeder is, he's a good point guard. He's underpaid. We all know what his contract offer was originally with the Lakers and we ended up getting with the Celtics. Next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets. Wait for the buyout market. Yeah, man, knowing my Pistons, we're probably going to, sign Jeremy Grant to his Supermax and then buy him out or something like that. I'll join the Brooklyn Nets, man. But no, that's actually a really good choice. Kevin Durant's going to be out for some time now. Kyrie Irving, we already know, is only playing away games. So, there will be some buyout dudes out there, maybe some solid vets that the Nets can, pick up and, get the most out of what they can, because they don't really have a ton of assets to trade right now, at least in my opinion. But there definitely is some holes on this team for them to fill, for long-term success. There's even talks right now of James Harden being traded by the trade deadline. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but yeah, man, we'll kind of see what direction the Nets going. Okay, next up we have the Charlotte Hornets. Hey, man, death taxes and the Charlotte Hornets needing a brand new center, right? That's kind of what it's like with them. Yeah, they got Mason Plumlee in the offseason. He is exactly what I knew he was, and that's average. He was actually not so bad with the Detroit Pistons. But yeah, the Hornets need that type of center that can just, be a guy that can score on the inside, stretch it at least to some ability, for penetration for LaMelo Ball. And we all know Miles Turner is that guy. That's exactly what this Hornets team needs, is a guy like Miles Turner, man. So we'll see if they go for him. I wouldn't even mind them going for an Andre Drummond from the 76ers. I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, next up we have the Chicago Bulls. They enter the Jeremy Grant sweepstakes. Yeah, man, a lot of people might know my opinions about who I want from the Chicago Bulls. Some Bulls fans are okay with my asking price. Others are not. I've seen a lot of people say, Kobe White, which, honestly, I wouldn't be against getting Kobe White in Detroit. I feel like he would be a nice scoring fit next to Cade Cunningham. But yeah, the guy in the picture is exactly what I want, man. I want Patrick Williams. I feel like that is just a long-term rebuild type move the Pistons can make, and it could be a big-time W for them, where Jeremy Grant continues to make the Chicago Bulls an even more win-now team than they already are, man. The Bulls are in first place. So, I understand Bulls, kind of having that little hesitant in their back of their mind, being well, we're in first, bro. We're going to win the championship. I think, you guys have been taking the leap since last year when you got Vucevic. Continue taking that leap now and go for Jeremy Grant, for Patrick Williams, Kobe White, and 7 first-round picks. No, man. I'll be good with either P. Will or Kobe. Leaning towards more P. Will, in my opinion. That's who I personally want. Next up, we have Cleveland Cavaliers keep Colin Sexton and Kevin Love. I don't think Colin can get traded because he's injured, unless that's only the NBA 2K rules. Kevin Love, he seems motivated now, man. He seems motivated. If you guys, checked out my other video earlier where I reacted to Hoops references midseason awards, he actually had Kevin Love in the 6th Man of the Year, award category, man, at least as a runner-up. So, yeah, he's a motivated man. But Colin Sexton also, you have the injury on top of him being, I believe, a restricted free agent. So I can see a lot of teams not wanting to take in Colin Sexton until they see him play basketball again. Next up, we have the Dallas Mavericks. They used the trade exception to bulk up the backcourt. Yeah, man, because, like Jalen Brunson has been playing some great basketball with Luka and everything, but they need some more depth on this team. They need some more depth, and obviously this could get it done. I do know that Jalen Brunson is going to be asking for roughly about $20 million a season in, the offseason, so even, like, bringing in somebody now as, like, a backup just in case, Jalen doesn't end up going back to the Mavericks, man. Like, if you got that exception, you might as well use it. Okay, next up we have the Denver Nuggets staying pat. I get that. You what the Nuggets don't want to do here right now, the record 22-20 on the season, 6 in the Western Conference, is you don't want to bring in like a really talented player, and then all of a sudden you have, Jamal Murray back, you have Michael Porter back, you also have this talented player you brought back, and it's the same case as like the Hawks, where all of a sudden you got too much talent, not enough minutes to allocate to said talent. So I understand that. Like, every year there's a few teams that are just victim of the injury bug, and that's the Nuggets, and they're still playing good basketball, but yeah, we really want to see what this team does when they're fully healthy, and that's probably not going to be until next season, but yeah, they'll get there eventually. Next up, we have the Detroit Pistons flip Jeremy Grant for multiple, by the way, there is a trash can or a recycling bin going by, man. So yeah, man. Yeah, because this is the trash take right here. No, not really. This is actually something I would love to see happen, man. I would love to see the Pistons get some first-round picks. I would be happy with one first-round pick. I really would. If we get multiple, I will be a happy man. But yeah, I'm curious. I have a feeling like it's not going to be like the most exciting trade deadline. I don't think it's going to be, but some championship contender team is going to bring in a Jeremy Grant to hopefully elevate them. That's what the trade deadline's all about, man. Elevating yourself for the second half of the season. And Jeremy Grant also, with his injury, he's going to be really rested up too, man. Ready for that second half run. So, yeah, man, a few first-round picks in Detroit, I'd be happy about it, man. Maybe I'll take THT in a first. Next up, we have the Golden State Warriors. Scan the clearance section for size. I suppose they got Kevon Looney. James Wiseman should be back. It's a team that can definitely, run Draymond as a small ball center completely fine. I mean, yeah, they can get somebody, but I feel like anybody they could get, a team like the Brooklyn Nets would already scoop up. So, yeah, man, we'll see. Next up, we do have the Houston Rockets shop Christian Wood and trade Eric Gordon. Yep, as we all know, Christian Wood was brought into the team thinking he was going to play with Russell Westbrook and James Harden. That didn't work out, so naturally it does make sense to maybe shop him around, see what we can get. If not, you keep him, that's fine too. And yeah, Eric Gordon, it would be great. I mean, even like, because Christian Wood has a pretty decent contract, I would say, for what he can bring a basketball team. There probably won't be any like takers, but if you could somehow combine Christian Wood with John Wall's contract, that's probably still too much money for a team to take on and match salaries to make that work. But yeah, I definitely don't blame the Rockets for like really just embracing the youth of the team. So a lot of that starts with getting rid of some of the vets. Next up, we have the Indiana Pacers trade established vets for other established vets. So this is more so like a partial rebuild, knowing that, the Pacers are always one of those teams that are stuck in mediocrity, but you still respect them to an extent. Right now, you don't respect them too much as they're 15-29, but yeah, I just feel like this team just needs like a new spark. So if you can get that by trading a Turner and LeVert for somebody, or a Malcolm Brogdon well, you can't trade Malcolm Brogdon because of his extension, but yeah, maybe not getting rid of everybody, but trying something new around like Sabonis or something, man. I don't know. I get what they're saying. All right, next up we have the Clippers make a future-focused move. How far in the future are you thinking? Because I think based off of right now, I don't believe they have their first-round draft pick, so like they can't really go into a tank for the season. But you very well know like Kawhi and Paul George are back next season, so I guess are you thinking like maybe you could do a move right now that sets you up for next season? I like that, but as far as like thinking of like a rebuild move, I feel like that's looking too far into the future, and we got to see these two guys healthy again. Next up, we got the Los Angeles Lakers. They keep Russell Westbrook, trade THT. Yeah, THT is like their big-time asset. I mean, it's a meme at this point, man, but THT in a first for any, superstar player. And it makes sense, too, man. I mean, I know Laker fans and LeBron James and even Russell Westbrook probably pretty dang impatient right now. And, yeah, you do what you can right now to repeat. Or, not repeat, I'm sorry, man, but go for another ring. And, you worry about the future when the future comes, right, man? I guess. Next up, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. Aim for the stars. So this means bringing a star player in. I disagree with this, man. 31-15, and they went on that crazy win streak, and I think they lost their last game. No, man, they're on a winning streak. They're on a one-game winning streak right now. But I ain't shaking that boat. I am seeing what Ja Morant and the magic of him brings to this team, especially with all this momentum and going into the second half of the season and the playoffs. And I'm just rolling with that, man. I ain't making a big time chemistry shift right now because that can come up and blow up in your face. Use this season. Ja Morant's so young. Desmond Bane's so young, man. See what y'all are about, and then in the offseason make that move. But don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Next up, we have the Miami Heat sit-out trade season. Oh, yeah, this team, bringing in Kyle Lowry and everything, like, they knew what they were building going into the year. Unfortunately, the team has had some injury issues and stuff like that. But, yeah, that seems like it's doing better now. So, yeah, no real reason to bring in anybody else. Rock out with what you have, man. And, now actually we get the full sample size of it. Well, we don't have Oladipo back yet on Miami, but, yeah. Next up, we got the Milwaukee Bucks. Search for stopper, but probably stand pat. Yeah, the Bucks 27-19, which is, bro, there's so many teams that are so close in the Eastern Conference. It's actually kind of crazy. But, yeah, once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. And not bringing back DeMarcus Cousins kind of shows that they're okay with what they have at, like, the big guy position and everything. So, yeah. Next up, Minnesota. Stay in Ben Simmons sweepstakes, but don't win it. I still think if the Sixers can get somebody like a D'Lo and a Malik Beasley, some sort of combination like that, that's a big-time W. But, yeah, if they're asking for too much, it's not a sweepstakes you want to win. Go on my main channel, Crispy Flakes, guys. I just did a video covering the Ben Simmons Detroit Pistons trade package that was just offered up. And it's a pretty good example, man, of like what they're asking for and how they just completely shot that down. It's like, it's hard to think what type of trade gets Ben Simmons off the 76ers this year. Next up, we have the Pelicans. Add a plug-and-play piece to chase play-in spot. Now, what's the point of doing that? In my opinion, I just kind of feel like when it comes down to it, like, I respect wanting to make the playoffs and, what it brings, especially to like the Pelicans, which we don't even know if they're going to be around long term. I mean, there's already been talks of that team's being sold and everything, right? But we know the team doesn't have Zion. We know how big of a difference Zion is. We know that Zion's eventually going to be back. I don't know if it's going to be this season. To be honest, I'm kind of team sit out Zion for the season and get him right. Get that lottery pick, get a top 5 pick in the draft, go for a big time guard, team that up with Zion and Ingram next season. You'll be in a good place. But, yeah, I don't believe in chasing the play-in tournament. It just kind of seems counterproductive in my opinion. Next up, we have the New York Knicks to pursue another shot creator. Well, literally on the screen in front of us right there, we got Kemba and Evan Fournier. And that was the idea of going into, last offseason was getting shot creators, but both these guys have just been like, I mean, Kemba's had good moments, Evan Fournier's have had good moments too, but it's not what they were looking for. I mean, I don't know what the Knicks' answer is around the trade deadline, and I don't really know what type of value they have. I mean, they got Cam Reddish, but he's going to be out for a bit, and that can even be your new shot creator, but yeah, man. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see if the Knicks do pull off anything. I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a Mitchell Robinson / Evan Fournier or Kemba Walker type of trade with another team to bring another piece. I could see that happening. But, yeah, a guy like Mitchell Robinson, you toss him on. You got Nerlens Noel on the team, so we'll see. Next up, OKC, trade Kenrich Williams, buyout Derek Favors. Yeah, I've been so mad that Derek Favors, has been playing with the Thunder. And that's nothing against Derek Favors. It's just that when you are the Thunder, that's a 14-29 team right now, man. They're almost like, top 5 worst team in the NBA record-wise. I was mad they got rid of Moses Brown. Like, he had some good moments for the OKC Thunder. Like, I don't like the idea of, playing old head veterans like that on, like, a really bad team all the time. I'd much rather see, like, a young dude get an opportunity right there and see if he can blossom. At least because Derek Favors is pretty, he's pretty mid, man. He's pretty mid. So I just feel like it's wasted. Next up, we got the Magic. We got collect multiple picks, including a first rounder. They have some nice pieces to do so. Yeah, lots of guys that could definitely get traded. Man, yeah, the Terrence Ross, Mo Bamba's been talking about trading for a first round pick, so I can see that happening. Next, we have the 76ers. Ben Simmons goes nowhere. That's a pretty dang good prediction because their asking value is ridiculous. And that's me recognizing how great of a basketball player Ben Simmons is. But it's a ridiculous ask. It really is. Like, I don't know. Next up, we have the Phoenix Suns trade Jalen Smith for front court depth. The reason I don't think this is going to happen is because there is talks of DeAndre Ayton potentially not coming back to the Suns. Yes, he is a restricted free agent. But I think seeing what happens with Jalen Smith will give us a good sign to see where the Suns are leaning with DeAndre. Because if they don't want to pay him max money, like a team like the Detroit Pistons is going to offer DeAndre a max contract. They're going to. And the Suns are going to have to decline and let him walk or accept and pay him the max money. I feel like Jalen Smith is like a good... obviously not as good as DeAndre Ayton, but he's at least a good security blanket where it's like, okay, if DeAndre Ayton's gone, at least we have Jalen Smith for the system, with the hopes of obviously probably also getting somebody else. Next up, we have the Portland Trailblazers trade multiple 8-figure players. Multiple, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with the Trailblazers. I really don't. You always think they should do something, and then you talk about them, and they don't do anything, so... I don't know. Sacramento Kings backstory stays. Harrison Barnes goes. I'm sitting here thinking about the backcourt, man. De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese, Buddy Hield, Davion Mitchell. I feel like one or two of those guys is gone. One or two of them. Buddy Hield, I think, gets traded with, maybe not with Harrison Barnes, but, and then De'Aaron Fox, there's been talks about him getting traded. We'll see if that happens, though. San Antonio Spurs, they trade Thaddeus Young. Yeah, he shouldn't really be on the Spurs. I still think that is, like, the perfect player that should go back to the Bulls. He was on there before. Good veteran player. Not going to be asked to do a ton, but you know what he is going to bring to the table, and it's just the perfect fit. Toronto Raptors flip Chris Boucher for wing depth. See, I would argue saying that the center position is kind of like what is most needed for the Toronto Raptors because, they got Scotty Barnes, they got, what's the name? Yeah, OG on the team or anything like that center position. Now, if you don't think Chris Boucher is the guy, then that's understandable, but once you get another team that I think could really greatly improve by bringing in, and plus, they got, Pascal Siakam too, for a wing player, but, bringing in like a Miles Turner once again. It's not like a broken record with him, but he fits on so many teams. Utah Jazz make aggressive bid for Jeremy Grant. Ain't nobody on that team I want. I really can't think of anybody that I would just be like, yeah, like that gets it done. I can't think of anybody. I mean, that's within reason. Like, I'll take Donovan Mitchell, but yeah, I don't really see a good trade to happen right there. What do you guys think, man? Says Jeremy Grant could cost the Jazz the quick strike scoring of Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, and the playmaking of Joe Ingles. But there's no real reason for the Pistons to do that. That's just going to bring too much guys to the roster and not enough PT for everybody. Washington Wizards spark a ton of trade smoke, but with no fire. I've already seen today that Montrezl Harrell is a guy that they've listed as available. But Wizards right now are 8th place, 23-21. Kuzma's playing like an all-star, so I'm okay with them not making any moves and just kind of going with the flow for the rest of the season. But that's all we have for this video, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.